Hello everybody and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
And my name is Ashton.
Ashton, where's he gone?
He's got the plops.
He's flipping blopsed it, hasn't he?
He has. He's got a sickness from his wife.
Ooh-wah.
Yes.
He has come down with the sickness, unfortunately. You
It's
thought he
definitely
blamed it
going
on you
around.
for a
I
second
did,
as well.
When I was kind of glanced at my phone as I was leaving the house this morning when Peter was like, oh, I'm not coming in, not very well. And I thought he said, I've got Ashton's sickness. And I was like, hang on a minute.
How dare you?
I know for a fact you said your wife wasn't very well.
Nuh-uh.
But turns out it was from his wife.
He did blame his
didn't
wife.
blame me at all.
So that's
I
fine.
just got defensive for no reason. I think
That's not like
I've
you,
just
though.
been so shut up. I've just been so worried that like I'm gonna get people sick from this weird illness that I've had.
We've managed to dodge it.
But
so
everyone
far.
seems to be fine. I mean, other people are unwell. Like your girlfriend's sick. Peter's wife is ill. There's some kind of girl sickness going around.
Yeah,
at the
there's a
moment
girl bug.
that doesn't seem to be making the jump over to everyone else.
Peter's
in the
patient
office.
zero of
Yeah,
boy.
he is. He's the first one to get it.
So
on
if
the boys'
Peter's
side.
fallen, then the rest of the boys will surely
It's only a matter of
follow.
time.
But
Yeah.
no, Peter does have the plops. I think he is still working today. But
And
obviously
once again, plops does not mean actual plops. It
Doesn't
just
mean
means
actual
that he's
plops.
unwell.
It's a colloquialism.
Some of you do get concerned
Like,
that
guys,
we
you guys are having a
often
lot
have
of diarrhea.
Diarrhea. But
Is that
that's
like a
not
cholera
the
outbreak
case.
in the office?
Plops is a catch-all term
Yeah.
for just not being here.
Yeah.
You can have holiday plops by just being in a different country.
It just means he's not here.
It just means he's not here, okay?
So he's working
Don't
from
worry.
home today, so he doesn't get us all sick as well.
Yeah.
And he won't be joining us on the stream today either, unfortunately. But we're
No.
going to be returning to Resident Evil 0, which I'm quite excited about, to be honest.
Make
because
2 rooms.
Yeah, the guide was really good last
guide
time.
was
If you
really
didn't
good.
watch the VOD or you didn't watch live, you're going to want to go to the VOD's channel and check out the stream because we're following a guide that's clearly written by
So
someone
good.
for whom English is not their first language.
Yeah.
And they're doing their best, but some of the sort of the language slip-ups are excellent.
Really good.
More entertaining than the game, I
I
would
would
say.
say.
So looking forward to playing more of that. But welcome. This is our video game podcast. Each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. They help us keep the bulb on. We actually found Dead Island 2 the Spider yesterday in his
our other
mansion.
studio. Yeah, there's a absolutely massive cobweb that he,
He
lives
built a
in.
huge spider
Yeah,
house. out of
and we
cobwebs.
left it there
Yeah.
because it's his house. That's where he lives.
We didn't hoover it or like evict him, so he's safe. He's in the other building though.
Yeah.
Ashton, I believe you have the ad read in front of you,
I
please.
do have the ad read. You may know that there's a big popular party game releasing this week,
Oh.
Super Mario Party.
Okay.
But they've realized that the Spanish market weren't really like getting involved in Super Mario Party. Like they just
Yeah.
weren't really getting into it. So they've launched like a campaign in Spain. So if you're Spanish, you can get
You've
involved
probably
in
seen this already
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's real.
Absolutely. Where if you win, they will deliver a leg of pork to you. Because just to be like, play the game, if you win in the country,
Have
they'll
some cured pork.
Have some cured pork.
Yeah.
And they're calling it Super Mario Party Hamon for me.
Ham on for me.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
legally you're not allowed to give it to anyone else. 'Cause
No,
it's
no,
just
it's your meat.
for me.
Well, I suppose you could give them a slice because they're quite a substantial amount of
And they're very
cured
thin
meat.
slices as
Yeah,
well, ham on
yeah.
usually. So like how many pigs died for this campaign, do you think? Roughly?
I mean,
they got 4 legs.
They died a while ago because they've been curing for a while.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they've just invested in like
They just bought up stock of
bought a
someone
bunch.
else.
Yeah,
They didn't
I think
kill
also
pigs
it's
for
only the 2 back legs
okay.
that you use.
That makes more sense. Front legs
So-
aren't as substantial.
Yeah,
are they?
yeah, yeah.
That's fair.
But it's not real. So actually, no pigs died. Nintendo did not kill any pigs.
Breaking news. There are no dead pigs
No dead pigs in
anymore.
Spain.
It's not real.
They're all alive.
They've never died.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's exciting.
I realized when I do sponsors today, I was like, I come up with one idea,
Yeah.
and then no matter how hard I try, I can't think of anything else, or like nothing else quite hits.
Okay.
This idea came to me in a split second when I saw the name, and I thought, there's simply nothing else I could do.
That's it.
That's it. And so when they're like bad, I know that they're bad. And I'm like, I can't do anything about this, unfortunately. I've come up with one idea and my brain has decided that that's all we're going to be able to think about this morning.
Yeah.
But this one wasn't that bad.
No, I like that one.
So
I could see it coming.
Yeah, well,
as
that's-
soon as you
that's
talked
the good
about,
ones.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
You could have maybe had something to do with jam, of course.
Yeah, that's
But I
true.
don't know what the other rhyming, but you could have just said jam for me,
that's true.
but that's not as good.
But ham on is so much more
Ham
fun
on
to say.
for me.
Ham on for me.
It's great.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, what we need to do is actually start making it, because You don't do it digitally, do you, with your documents?
No, I
you draw
write
it
it down.
on. I always type mine up so I can access all of my sponsors for the year.
Yeah.
If there was a way to collate all of our real sponsors and put them into a massive poll, we should determine through Patreon what the best sponsor of the year was.
Well, I could go back and watch every single poll. I'd
Every
only
single
have to
one.
watch the first 5 minutes.
Very true,
To
yeah.
get past us yapping and find out what the sponsors are.
And we could have a
then-
tournament
Yeah.
to decide what is the best real sponsor of the year.
Yeah.
It would be and it'd be fun to go back through them all as well.
Hey, maybe I'll have a look.
Maybe we'll do that.
Maybe I'll find some
Who
time
knows?
tomorrow.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. No, we're not sponsored by Mario Party Ham On for me. We're, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go there and support us, you get access to all sorts of stuff, early worst and weirdest games, exclusive access to Rules Boss and Main Menu. You can ask questions on this podcast. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. Just a quick reminder, if you can get your questions in by Wednesday,
That would be
that's when
lush.
the document gets put together for the Thursday recording. That would be really
We
helpful.
had a few questions last night, actually, which
We
is
did, some
fine.
last-minute
because I know
additions.
that time zones are different.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe try and get it in before Wednesday,
If something
5
breaks,
p.m.,
ask us about it.
BST, GMT, whatever one we're on now.
Yeah,
Because
one of those.
that way I can be like, these are the questions. And I won't be having to be like, hey, I've changed my mind. There's a new question this morning.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
everyone who
much.
submitted questions. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Also, our website is triplej.mup. There you can find links to our YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Cameo, TripleJumpShop.com. Neither of us are repping merch today.
Sorry.
I was going to wear
Peter is
my...
our like consistently always wearing merch.
Well, to be
so-
fair, I'm usually wearing my track jacket.
That's true.
Especially on a Thursday when I
Yeah.
cycle in. But I didn't today because I wanted to show off my sick t-shirt.
I was wearing my Triple Jump hoodie yesterday and I got dirt on it from Main Menu.
Oh, was it dirt?
It was like I
Debris.
got food on it, so it had to go in the wash.
It was a particularly cursed day of shooting yesterday.
very
we had
bad.
to double up on shoots because there may or may not be some sort of Saturday morning exciting live show coming up soon that we're going to be talking about that we needed to prep some content for. And again, patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Thank you so much. The Tat Appeal is open, as we have said before. Is it the 18th of November is the
Yes.
cutoff? To find out more, you can go to triplej.mup/tat, which will give you the address if you want to take part this year in the Tat Appeal. Something we didn't talk about last week
Yeah.
that I totally forgot to talk about until this week is Parcel Core is out.
Yes.
Now, this is not a hashtag ad. However, full disclosure, we were paid to be in the game.
Yeah, for work.
For what?
For work. We did work and they paid us.
Well, yeah,
for
we
it.
did. It wasn't part of this job.
No.
We got paid separately to do that job and be in that game. But it's very exciting that the game is now out and you can go and try and find us in the game. We all appear as NPCs.
You find Ben immediately.
It's pretty hard to miss me. I'm at the start, so you can do your best. Peter's in there. You're
I'm
in there.
I actually I recognized Peter, but it did take me a minute because his voice is slightly pitched up. So I was like, and I was like, that's flipping Peter Austin.
See, they pitched my voice down for my character,
Right.
And
You
I was
voiced
like,
one of the characters in the game as well?
Yes.
Which one? Do you know?
It's like the art guy.
That's you, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. I hadn't realised
The
that
very
was you.
camp art man.
Yeah, I
who's-
didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and find him
Just
again.
an
so I can
incredible
listen to
actor
him
who,
again.
according to IMDb,
Is dead.
Is dead.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some of you are aware, obviously, the sad passing of the comic historian,
Yeah.
I think it was, who's also called Ben Potter earlier this year. IMDb have somehow managed to merge our two pages. So while it is the description of me,
Yeah.
it's all in the past tense and says that I died earlier this year.
Yeah.
So according to IMDb, I am legally dead, unfortunately. Don't know if I can change that, but don't be alarmed if you go on IMDb.
Yeah. He's not dead.
I'm not dead. One other thing I wanted to mention is that, of course, perfect timing as always, there is an Xbox Partner Showcase tonight
Yes.
at the time of recording. I'm sure there will be stuff that we probably could have talked about if it had happened before the podcast recording, but we will address that next week if there's anything substantial there. But looking forward to it.
Indeed I am.
I like these showcase things. Shall we move on to question one?
I flipping think we should.
Go on then. It's me. I'm reading it because
Yeah.
Peter's not here.
Yeah.
This is from Noah the Boa. Hi, Bap.
Hi.
Or just Ab. I had a chat with a game dev, and we got to the topics of modding in games. He said he hated mods because they would destroy his original vision for a game he's created. I can understand his point when it comes to the naughty stuff, where the mod is just take clothes off female character. But what's your opinion about mods, and do you use them yourself sometimes? Thank you very much, Noah.
I think that mods are great.
Yeah.
I don't feel like mods take away from the gaming experience that the devs intended, because 8 out of 10 times, if someone is using mods for a game where there is a story or like a through line, people will play the game first and then install mods afterwards. Or if they're going to install mods, I played Fallout and I installed some mods for Fallout just purely to make the game a bit easier to play, in that the carry capacity is bigger, or there's a map that's easier to read, or that kind of thing. I don't think mods take away from games at all. I love when games are encourage people to use mods. Like recently, the Baldur's Gate 3 mod kit launched, and they made a whole sketch about it, about mods that are happening, and I love that. I think that's great, and I think that to give gamers and people who are talented in that sphere the skills and the abilities to make those mods is great, and I think it should be encouraged, because mods make games better for some people, and also we get whole new realms of Fallout London, exactly. There's a whole new set of things for Half-Life Alyx. There's new campaigns and all these kinds of different stories. Portal's got loads as well. That's brilliant. That's more content for people who just want to play games, and it doesn't take away from what the developers did originally.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think mods are great. I understand perhaps the potential aversion from certain developers, perhaps specifically or particularly indie devs who make perhaps a more narrative thing that is about a thing that's very personal to them. They might feel a bit hesitant about letting people go in and tinker with stuff. But broadly speaking, I think I prefer mods for single player titles rather than multiplayer titles, because then you're not affecting anyone else's enjoyment of the game. Usually with multiplayer games that have mods, it's to give you an advantage, and it is cheating, and that's not great. I do think that there's definitely a space for multiplayer mods within games like maybe Borderlands and things like that, because I remember when we spoke to friend of the channel, Patrick Fenn, who used to be a producer at Gearbox, we were talking to him about Borderlands and how their philosophy internally was if you're... Because for a long time with Borderlands 1 especially, you could export your save data. Even on PS3, I did it, and plug it into your computer, use this piece of software, I think called Willow Tree or something, and you'd be able to hack your save data, give yourself unlimited storage slots, all the skill points, create weapons from the random generator and just give it full stats so it kills everything instantly. You could do all that stuff. And I asked him why was that never addressed? And he said that their philosophy was that, there's no, apart from if you're doing a duel, there's no direct competition in that game. So just sort of have fun as long as you don't break it. However, then with Borderlands 3, we saw them nerfing and changing the classes all the time.
And being very particular about balance.
Breaking skills and particular builds and stuff like that. And that actually sort of flew in the face of that a little bit. But, in those instances, I think there's definitely room for people to tinker and do their own thing. Again, as long as it doesn't negatively impact other people. I think it's sometimes it's funny, on the surface level, but also a bit naff when you see Shrek running around Dark Souls or something. I think unless you're actually making content for YouTube or something, when you want a funny thumbnail, I played Dark Souls as Shrek. I can't imagine someone playing through Dark Souls for the first time as Shrek is probably going to have as much of an experience as someone who wasn't playing as Shrek. So, there could be an argument made for it. It can negatively impact your experience if you...
Yeah, but that's your,
it is your choice. So... Absolutely, yeah. And how I always try to resist playing through the first Pokemon game without duplicating rare candies to level up all my Pokemon. It's my choice to do that. But you definitely lose something from the experience by just... cheating to
every time I play Sims, I give my Sims loads of money.
Yeah.
Because it annoys me that I haven't got any money. Even if I'm playing if I'm trying to play the game, which I never do, I just build the houses and then move on with my life. I will still be having to fight off the urge to be what if I just had 100,000 simoleons?
What if I could just
right now?
do a bit of wish fulfillment?
Yeah, what if I just was like, hey, I've got no issues about money. We've got a trust fund, and just like do it like
Grandma
that.
just died. She was very wealthy.
Which is obviously just cheats, but I mean like even mods and stuff people use for Sims. I mean some of them are really weird, like the Wicked Whims the Sims mod pack, which is basically just you can have sexual intercourse and you can see it if you want to.
Brilliant.
But people are going to do that anyway.
Oh yeah, that stuff's always, especially in live sim games.
Yeah.
That's always going to exist. Any game that involves any kind of romance, like a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age, that's going in there. You're going to see that. There's going to be weird stuff going on in there.
I do agree though that if I could take any genre of mod away, I would take this lady is now naked away. That would be the mod I would remove. The mod genre of like boobies.
Yeah.
Boobies. That is the booby mod.
That is like 90% of mods.
I know it is like 90% of mods.
I had never modded a game up until I played the PS5 build of Fallout 4, which even then, as I spoke about on the podcast at the time, was literally just quality of life stuff and maybe a couple of visual improvements.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's the only thing I've ever modded, mainly because I only ever play on console. And when I have played on PC, I don't know how to mod things. It's beyond my skills and I have no need for it. But I have no issue with them. Like I find it funny watching, sometimes there's a guy on YouTube, it's basically his whole channel. And you watch a couple of videos, you get the idea, and then you're like, okay, I'm done for now. And then occasionally you'll come back in, like a new game, Elden Ring will come out, and he's like, I play Elden Ring, but it's ruined my mods.
Yeah.
And it's like all the dragons are Thomas the Tank Engine, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you move on with your life. But I wouldn't want to play through a game in that fashion.
I saw a TikTok this morning that was just like the voiceover goes, are you playing modded? And the guy goes, no. And then it cuts and it's playing Baldur's Gate 3. And it cuts to like your character having a conversation and Gale has a toilet on his head. Astarion is Master Chief from Halo. And Shadowheart is just not textured at all. And I was like, cool.
I love that.
Nice.
And also not to mention, of course, that a lot of the time, especially on PC, modders have to fix the games.
Yeah.
Dark Souls is a particularly bad one. It just did not run very well.
Yeah.
And modders had to fix that stuff. And that is the case for a lot of multi-platform games that end up on PC, is that they just don't function properly and people have to fix them themselves. So without modders, you'd have a way inferior experience.
Absolutely.
So there we are. Mods, thumbs up. But also I do understand where they're coming from. We get it, but also I'm still gonna put
pro mod.
massive bondonkers on what's his name, the guy Astarion.
Right, yeah.
He's gonna have them. That's
He's gonna have them.
They're his now.
Absolutely.
Shall we move on to something else?
A new segment. While Peter's not here, I thought we could try it. It's called What We Playin.
Oh. It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Ashton Matthews, what have you been playing, please?
I've been playing a few things this week. I was thinking to myself last night, I was like, I've only played Star Wars Outlaws this week, but that is in fact a lie that I told myself because I have played other things this week, and actually quite a few of them. But I've mainly been playing Star Wars Outlaws. Okay. I am at the point where it's like, when you do this mission, that's it.
Oh.
So do all the other stuff first. And I've been on the planet called Akiva, which is like the jungle planet, which is from one of the books. Okay. I know that because my boyfriend told me, all right? I'm not a big nerd like that.
He would know.
He would know. And I like that planet in a lot of ways. However, like I've found myself getting so lost. I'm absolutely baffled about how to get around and how to get into certain places and to, like, get rid of the little investigation icon that's like, there's a part around here that you need for your blaster, and I'm like, I can't figure out how to get up there. I don't understand. And there's been a few times like that on that planet, and that has had me a bit frustrated. But for the most part, I've been really enjoying this game. I have encountered a few bugs here and there, and like a few little kind of glitches that have meant that either an intel will never go away, or I've gone somewhere and it's like, you've done it. And I'm like, done what? Like, I've just arrived at a place and you're saying I've done it. Also, my other issue with this game, and I forgot to mention it last week, is that at one point you start coming across like walls with like orange cracks in them. Okay. And I was like, I must not have the bit of equipment that I need to deal with these walls. And I kept encountering them, and I was like, I don't understand, like, when am I going to get the equipment? There's so many places I'm going to have to come back to. And then I realized that I'd had it the whole time. It had just never told me. You get like a power, like ammo for your gun.
Oh, okay.
So you have like regular blaster, electronic blasts or ion, and then you have power. And you can use the power one to destroy the orange rocks and walls, but it never tells you that. Like it never gives you like you can destroy this with your blaster if you want to. It just says you'll need something to get through those. Do you have it? No, and doesn't tell you. So there's a few times where I've been like, what am I supposed to do here? And it hasn't told me, but eventually have either been told or have Googled it to find out. So, but I am still enjoying that game, and I do think it is great fun. So that is nice. I've also played some more Disney Dreamlight Valley and Tiny Glade, and I played some Parcel Court.
Okay.
I've played like about a few hours of it.
Nice.
I've got into like the second area.
You're skipping all the cutscenes with me in.
No, I mean there is a lot of talking in that game. Don't get me wrong.
I'd skip them.
And I can't believe I didn't realize it was you. I was like, I'm sure you voiced one, but I hadn't, because a few of them are like either accents or like very like kind of, they've clearly been pitched up or down. So I didn't realize that was you. So I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't know. Yeah. I spotted Peter and I spotted myself, but my voice has also been pitched up.
It has.
So it's not the same, which is fine, because it actually made it much more bearable to listen to. Because I was like,
it hides you.
I was like,
You're
oh God.
I
was like, I don't really want to hear my own voice. It's going to make me feel gross. And then I was like, oh, actually it's fine, because that doesn't sound like me, because it sounds different. And that's great. I love that they did that.
My one with the statue, I think sounds way better now. It's been pitched up. Like, you know, I didn't think it was bad per se.
Yeah.
But like, I think it fits
yeah.
within the world better, that it doesn't just sound like a normal person.
Just some guy. Yeah, absolutely. But I've been enjoying that. I suck at it. I'm so bad at it. Really? The amount of
times...
Can't
do the mad stunts.
I can't figure out how to do a wheelie. Like, it was explaining it to me during the tutorial. I managed to do it that once, and I have not figured out how to do it since. And one of the things, there was like a filmmaker who like gives you tasks, and one of them is like, do a wheelie in this location. And I was trying for like the full 10-second time limit I had. And I was like, I can't figure it out. Like, I just keep going backwards. I don't understand. So there's a few times where I'm just like, I don't know how to play this game. But I've managed to kind of barely slog my way through. I kept failing quests for Peter Austin's character, and I felt really sad.
Oh no, is it disappointed when you don't get it right?
Well, yeah, it's just like, they don't say anything. I just was like, damn it, I keep messing it up.
You just call him. Say, can you tell me you're disappointed?
Can you just tell me I'm
to do
doing
better.
all right? Yeah. So I played that, and then last night, MB is away. So we started playing a game called Kingdom 2 Crowns.
Okay.
Which is like a side, basically all you do is press left or right and down to pay for things. And you basically are two royals on horses, and you go to different islands and you kind of upgrade your people and you upgrade your town. And then once you get to a certain point, you can travel to the next island to like get more resources and like keep growing and evolving your towns. And we were having a good time like that. We played it for like 2 hours last night, and like I say, all you do is press left and right and down to pay the peasants to join your gang, or to tell them to cut trees down or upgrade your stuff. And I think it was nice, and I'm excited to play some more.
Fantastic.
So that's what I played this week.
Excellent. I've only played 3 things. I'm going away this weekend with capital T, the boys.
Whoa.
And I think, I don't know if we're going to play any video games. We'll probably just talk about how hard it is to get out of bed and how our backs hurt now, because we're on our 30s. That's what you do.
Now. Yeah.
I haven't seen them for a while. Looking forward to it. But we might play some Mario Kart, something. I don't know. Either way, I played some more It Takes Two. Still loving that. Although as the game goes on, I think I'm encountering areas that I don't remember too fondly because they require a bit more brain power to do. You know, like the more open areas. Just got to the ice bit where you have to ding the 3 bells, and there's lots of distractions.
Yeah,
and it's like, this was cool the first time, but also I remember sort of being here for a while, and I kind of want to crack on.
Yeah.
I prefer it when it's a little more straightforward and focused, and you're doing set.
There's kind of one way to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And that game is so chock full of really inventive and clever set pieces and like mechanics, and it's so many different genres rolled into one. And when you're not doing that, I feel very, it just slows down a lot. But we've got our magnets at the moment, you know, where you can zip it. Like some of the puzzles are so clever, and how you get across them and have to repel and attract one another across it. It's all great. Metaphors for marriage and stuff. Really good game. I entered my name into jackbox.tv, answered one question in Trivia Murder Party, and then the Chinese takeaway arrived, and I'll turn it off.
Cool.
So that was really fun. I did get the answer
jealous you
right.
had a Chinese takeaway.
Yeah, you should be. It was sick.
I really want a Chinese takeaway.
It was really good. I can tell you where a really good one is.
I would love that.
Don't know if they delivered to you. Maybe though. We're not too far away.
Not too far away.
But they have like a whole vegan menu. It's amazing.
Last time I ordered a Chinese takeaway, I ordered so much they gave it to me in a cardboard box.
Oh, see, that's good.
And I was like, this is amazing.
That's a premium one right there.
Yeah,
you always have to order enough that you end up with like 4 extra dishes that they just throw in for like this person's having a party. Here's some some prawn crackers and some spring rolls and just you know, that'll feed you.
Feed you for the next 4 days. Love it.
But yeah, I'll let you know what it is. It's really good.
Cool.
And the main thing I played is what I'm going to talk about in just a second in the review corner, which is Life is Strange Double Exposure. I've had access to the first couple of episodes for about a week, and I'm going to tell you all about it now.
Whoa. Welcome then to Review Corner.
Yes.
Here we are, nice and cozy. Ben, you've been playing Life is Strange Double Exposure.
I have.
Thoughts and feelings?
I have them.
Good.
Would you like me to share?
I would love nothing more.
So, Life is Strange Double Exposure. I have played the first couple of episodes. Big thank you to Square Enix for providing the code. Before we go any further, because this code was #gifted per ASA guidelines, that does technically make this an ad. However, there was no financial compensation in exchange for coverage. We are just talking about the game, what was given to me. So yes, I've played through these first 2 chapters. Straight off the bat, bit of a controversial one amongst fans who were really worried about spoilers, giving early access. If you pre-ordered the like super duper edition, you got early access to these 2 chapters. That's not gone down particularly well.
Yes.
Thankfully, though, I was able to avoid any information. I mean, I don't really run in many Life is Strange circles, even though I do like the series and I have played them all.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. One thing I would also advise people to do is actually just kind of avoid trailers and not go to the official website either. Because while I am going to dance around specifics here and not spoil anything, essentially the major beats of the first, and I get that they have to market this game somehow. They can't just say, stuff happens.
Yeah.
But the major beats of the first episode are just in the blurb on their website. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't read this going in because I enjoyed going in blind.
Yeah, they did kind of say, like, all of their marketing stuff, because when I was doing the forecast, I was like, oh, this kind of seems like quite an important, thing that's going to happen, but...
It does.
Yeah.
And that thing is the climax of episode 1.
Yeah.
And I did not know that going in, so I enjoyed episode 1, I think, a lot more than people who do know that information would have. So that would be my advice if you're interested in this game and haven't seen that stuff yet.
Just
don't go looking for it. So, you are playing as Max Caulfield. She, of course, was the protagonist of Life is Strange 1. We haven't seen her since, I believe. Oh, no, maybe she was in a spin-off as well.
There was a spin-off, I think, but...
Before the Storm, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe she may have appeared in that. I can't quite remember. It's been a long time since that game came out. However, you are playing as her. It continues after the clearly canonical ending of Life is Strange 1. You did have a choice at the time, but they have made a decision and decided to run with that. She is now teaching at a prestigious art university as the artist in residence for photography, because she was always a photography fan. She's clearly been going through it a bit since the end of Life is Strange 1, as you would expect. She's had difficulty making friends, kind of drifted around a bit, but as you find her at the start of this game, she's made a couple of close friends, and that's made obvious immediately. You know, you got lots of photos together, and you're very bantery, and you like each other a lot. Inevitably, something happens.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
A bad thing.
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but her world is once again thrown into chaos. In the first game, she had the power to rewind time, which was the source of a lot of puzzles. You know, you had to work out how to get around stuff. However, in this one, she develops powers to sort of flit between 2 universes or timelines, one in which the thing happened and one in which the thing didn't happen. And that is sort of the crux of the game. You've got to get to the bottom of what is going on and why and who done it, etc., and so on and so forth. So mechanically, she can switch timelines and universes at predetermined points in a given area to solve puzzles. You can also sort of pulse the ground around you that like fires out 20 meters and shows sort of like a preview of what's happening in the alternate timeline.
Cool.
So if from a gameplay perspective, if you wanted to eavesdrop on someone, but in that timeline, if you go up to them, they're going to know you're there.
Yeah.
You go into the other timeline, stand near where they are, fire off this pulse, and you can see them and hear them.
That's cool.
And you can pick up information.
Cool.
It also lets you, get around obstacles that may or may not be in different versions. So it's sort of just it's a puzzle solving thing, essentially. That's kind of how that works. But other than that, you're doing the normal Life is Strange stuff, very similar to, classic Telltale formula. You're walking around, talking to people, interacting with objects, making decisions that affect the story, and also that affect relationships and how other characters will treat you. I really think it looks very pretty, actually. I love that they've stuck with a sort of stylized art style.
Yeah.
But then it's, running on contemporary hardware and looks great. I haven't had any performance issues. I think the facial capture or whatever they've done to capture expressions and emotions is really good. There's lots of subtle body language that can, like when someone's nervous, you can see them like fiddling with their fingers, and all the fingers, as you would expect now, are moving. Yeah. I just think it looks really, really good. Nice. And I'm a big fan of how they've sort of portrayed that stuff.
I mean, they kept because obviously we had the last Life is Strange, which had the different character, which I can't remember.
Yes, True Colours.
True Colours, which did again look absolutely gorgeous.
It did.
And had lots of like feedback was positive about the way it looked. So it's nice to see that they've kind of not lost that style that they've got, which is nice.
I agree. I was really struck by how good it looks. I'm a big fan of that. It lets you take photos at certain points. Again, as you would expect, her being a photographer, that is relevant. There's also lots of options for accessibility. And there's tons of trigger warnings as well for various upsetting societal themes that these games inevitably touch on: homophobia, transphobia, racism, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very user-friendly, I would say. Now, a couple of sticking points for me. There is a social media and text feed that sort of gets updated as you go. And as someone who wants to know what's going on and keep, because some of the story does unfold on that. You don't have to check it, but like characters are introduced on there. And then when you meet them in person, you're like, okay, I sort of have an understanding of you and how people react to you, or how how respected you are, and so on. But it did end up with me, especially at the beginning of each episode, and certainly at the midpoint, but less so at the midpoint, doing about 20 minutes of phone admin, where I was sat there just scrolling through a pretend social media feed, reading everything. You don't have to do it, obviously, but it did feel like a lot. Yeah. A lot of sort of fake admin to do. Also, those rift points where you can travel between timelines, they are generously placed in areas where you are expected to use them. But while you're working out puzzles, inevitably there's a lot of running back and forth between them, and teleporting, and then running back to where you need to go. Oh no, that's the wrong bit. Okay, and then running back. And it would be nice to, I think it would have been preferable. There's obviously a reason they haven't done this, but it would have been preferable to actually just be able to open a rift wherever you wanted.
Yeah, while you're in that area, just flip back and forth.
That would have been nicer for me, I think. But having finished now episode 2, I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm a big Life is Strange fan anyway, and there was actually something that did annoy me a bit. You do make these big decisions that it warns you about, like, this is a major decision, are you sure? And I made one that I feel like it either didn't truly communicate what the immediate impact of that would be,
right,
or the logic that I was operating under is a logic that doesn't exist in the game.
Right.
So I won't tell you what the decision was, obviously, but I made it a conscious decision thinking, right, at pure face value, the person that I am agreeing with the person that I'm agreeing with here to assist them will upset someone else. However, I'm hoping that the person that it might upset will have the nuance to understand that this is a person in a place of authority, and I at least need to make it seem like I'm cooperating. Otherwise, it's going to throw suspicion on. If I just say, no, I'm not going to cooperate with you, then that would make everything else look bad. But no, everyone flew off the handle immediately afterward and got really cross. And I was like, well, that seems really short-sighted, though.
Yeah.
How can you not? Anyway, that annoyed me. But it's early days. I imagine there's going to be 5 episodes. I'm not entirely sure. But that's only the end of the second episode. So, yeah, I like it.
Is it just the first two that are out at the moment?
Yes, they are, and I believe, in fact, by now, it may well be that all the chapters have released.
Right.
But certainly at the time of recording this, there are only two available, I think. So we'll have to see how it goes. But it fully releases actually on October the 29th, so not for a little while.
No.
There you go. On Switch, PS5, PC, and Xbox Series. And as I said earlier, people who do pre-order the special Ultimate Edition do get early access to the full game.
Cool.
Or to the two chapters, at the start. So, and there we are. That is Life is Strange. Double exposure.
Wow. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
We go back to the podcast now?
Yes, let's.
Wow. Wasn't that fun?
How illuminating.
It's time now for question 2. It comes from Moonstone Studios. You don't sound like a real person. Just kidding, it's fine. Hello, BAP. I've been seeing a lot of reaction to the recent Pokemon leaks from Game Freak on social media, especially in regard to the unreleased lore. While my first reaction to reading some of the stories were ick, on reflection, those stories are basically akin to myths and legends from real-world cultures. While I've got about the same amount of desire to explain what's in those leaks with my Pokemon-loving 12-year-old nephew, as I do to explain what Pasiphae was doing with that wooden cow shell, i.e. none, I am worried that these leaks would expose Game Freak to undue hate. To say nothing of the privacy violations of the hacks to individual employees, do you see any positive benefits to such a leak? P.S. Pasiphae is the mother to the Minotaur in Greek mythology. So, yeah, not a discussion I'd be keen to have. So if you've missed this, this comes from BBC News by Tom Richardson, just like the basic deets. We're not going to go into any of the actual leak information because that is scummy.
And you can find that yourself if you want to.
Yes, if you want to. Pokemon maker Game Freak has confirmed it was a victim of a data leak after information appeared online over the weekend. The company, which developed the Nintendo exclusive video game series since 1996, said its servers were hacked in August this year. A statement says 2,606 items containing the names and email addresses of current, former, and contract employees were accessed. The company did not comment on other information shared online, claiming to show details of unreleased and upcoming projects. Game Freak said it would individually contact those affected where possible and strengthen security measures to prevent similar hacks in the future. We sincerely apologise for the inconvenience and concern caused to all involved, it said.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once again, this similar happened with Insomnia a few months ago. Insomniac, sorry. And we saw that there was a lot of personal information leaked from actual employees, which is obviously the worst thing. Mm-hmm. And we saw a lot of information come out about Spider-Man and Wolverine from that leak. Yeah. This leak has concerned Pokemon's next games that are coming out, Z and A, and a few of their old stuff. And it is mostly just information and lore and Pokemon designs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really horrible this has happened. We said this the last time. It's none of our business what companies are doing. And it's horrible that this information has been leaked. And it's now something that they feel like they have to defend. Although they haven't really talked about it. They've kind of ignored it, which I actually think is benefiting them a little bit. Because unless you're someone who's in that sphere and knows about this, you're not going to know about it because they are not talking about it. They're actively trying to just be like, yeah, we're sorry it happened. Obviously, the individuals have been contacted and we're sorting that out, but have not commented really on any of the stuff that's come out, which I think is a sensible thing to do from them. But yeah, in terms of positive sides of this, I've got there's two schools of thought. The first one being that it's actually really nice to see what devs are doing and how they work on stuff and the early iterations of things and the lore that might not necessarily have made it into the game or things that they've been thinking about. And that is nice to see in the kind of creative process side of things. But it's also just kind of nice to see things that we probably would never have seen outside of these leaks in terms of early designs and early Pokemon and stuff. Yeah,
but that's the thing, right? We had a few people actually ask about this on Patreon, so thank you to those people. And also in Weird News, a lot of people asked or submitted stories that were specifically about things in the leak, which we're not going to be touching on, as we said.
Yeah.
That is if there is the tiniest silver lining to this horrible situation, it is that it is very interesting to see some of this forbidden knowledge, as it were, specifically in regards to their older stuff and how, a Pokemon might have been a different type originally. Lots of, as you said, lore implications, the kind of stuff that we would either never learn about or that is, would come out in some kind of book 20 years from now from an unofficial Nintendo, someone who worked there, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
However, it's just so dreadful that to learn of that stuff in this instance has to go hand in hand with not only stuff that is highly topical and reportable, like the code name for the Switch successor, which means that this stuff is going to be spread far and wide, and then obviously also all of the leaked information about all of these employees, which is far and away the worst bit. I completely agree, though, that this does potentially open up Game Freak to hate further down the line.
Absolutely.
Because as with Insomniac, these people's personal information has now been leaked, and all it takes is someone who's a particularly nasty piece of work and doesn't agree with how a game has been put together, or for some reason wants to identify someone within the organization and not necessarily make them a scapegoat, but make them the target of their frustrations, or a community, a particularly hateful community's frustrations, for this to completely spiral out of control. And obviously you can imagine the logical sort of end result of that is just targeted abuse, which is horrible. And it I mean, I don't know what to say other than it's terrible and it sucks.
Yeah.
That it doesn't. A lot of people I've seen online have been saying things like, it's really interesting that such and such Pokemon used to be a water type, for example, or was originally meant to be. But when it's tied so closely to someone's personal info being leaked as well, it's like I haven't looked at any of the leaked stuff personally.
No, I haven't either.
And it's just such a horrible way to learn about this stuff.
Yeah. Like you say, like this information may have eventually come out in like a book or like the makings of Pokemon, and we'll see these early glimpses of what could have been that wasn't. And that, like I say, is a very interesting thing. And I can totally understand why people want to find out more and like dig deeper into this information.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a shame that you can't read this nice thing without like the human costs being in the back of your head about what this means for employees of the company whose information has been leaked, but also what it means for the games going forward. I'm not saying that we didn't get any Spider-Man DLC because Insomniac had this huge leak, but I am saying that it probably didn't help how things were going behind the scenes for the future of those franchises, given that so much of the information was leaked online.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think this one is as bad. I say not to compare them, but like in terms of like information leak isn't quite as kind of damning and like future. I'm not the opposite of future proof. Doesn't affect. There's not looking too far into the future in the leak.
Right, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Insomniac had like presentations about like games 10, 15 years in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Like we saw a lot about what Insomniac are doing and what they were working on for the next decade.
Yeah.
And this obviously hasn't got that, but we do have information that we should never have been privy to, or at least should have been allowed to be privy to at a later date in a different way.
It's crap. It's a crap situation, and it would be bad enough if it was just there's been a massive data leak and it contains all of the personal information of these employees. That would be awful anyway. But the fact that it has like juicy stuff in here that people want to know about means that this stuff is getting shared way further and potentially, heightening the risk to these people who have had their information shared. It sucks. It really, really sucks. And hopefully those people are okay and that Game Freak and Nintendo does the right thing and steps in to protect them or take measures to definitely ensure that this stuff never happens again. And fingers crossed,
it's crazy that it keeps happening.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it feels like every few months something else.
I wonder if there's, knowing nothing about data security, talking out of my arse, I wonder if there's like some sort of standardized platform that a lot of these guys are using that is getting easier to crack into potentially. I no idea if there's any truth to that.
Hey, if you're a hacker, quit it.
Hey, stop that.
Quit it.
Stop, man.
Losers.
It'll come out eventually. From a development and publishing perspective, which is far less important than the human element of this. Hopefully it doesn't impact their timelines as well, and that this doesn't slow things down too much for for the companies. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Our thoughts with those affected, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that made the headlines.
It did.
Big time.
Oh, can you smell that? Can you smell that?
It smells a bit stinky peculiar.
It smells a bit stinky peculiar in here. It's weird news. It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you'd like to submit some weird video game news to us, you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
Gabrielle Philippink,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen,
Blake Thomas,
Marlee,
David Cam,
Eric Sue,
Great Giggity,
Michael Pendlebury,
Katie Garrett,
and Big Money Bobby Vegas.
Thank you so much, podcast producers. We appreciate it very much. What you got there, Ashton?
I got some news. It was submitted on Facebook by Josh Bailey and James Matthews, top fan, no relation. From Eurogamer by Victoria Kennedy.
Kennedy. Sorry, it was a wrestling reference.
Hamlet film made in GTA Online coming to US cinemas and global streaming services.
Whoa.
Yep.
Are they using like crappy microphones and everything to do it?
I don't know yet. Mubi, an art house streamer and distributor, has acquired the US cinema rights and the global streaming rights for a documentary made entirely in Grand Theft Auto Online, which has a Shakespearean twist. The documentary is Grand Theft Hamlet and tells the story of two unemployed actors who went about staging a performance of Shakespeare's tragedy with GTA Online. It was directed by Penny Grills and Sam Crane. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy, Hamlet says to Horatio in the play. And while he probably wasn't chatting about video games, I feel this quote still fits here. Grand Theft Hamlet was recorded during the COVID lockdown and its premiere at South by Southwest, had its premiere at South by Southwest, a film and media festival held in America earlier this year, where it won the documentary feature jury award. The documentary will be getting its UK premiere during the BFI London Film Festival later this month. However, all screenings are sold out. The full synopsis for Grand Theft Hamlet reads: January 2021. The UK is in its third lockdown and all entertainment venues remain closed. For theatre actors Sam and Mark, of Sam and Mark's that CBBC show. No, they're not. I wish. Do you remember Sam and Mark from CBBC?
I don't think so, no. I might recognise them.
You might recognise them. Anyway, the future looks bleak. As the pandemic drags on, Mark, single and childless, is increasingly socially isolated. I can't read today. While Sam panics about how he's going to support his young family. They spend their days in the online digital world of Grand Theft Auto, and when they stumble across a theatre, they suddenly have an idea to stage a full production of Hamlet within the game. The film charts their ridiculous, hilarious, and moving adventures as they battle violent griefers and discover surprising truths about life, friendship, and the enduring power of Shakespeare. Reviews for Grand Theft Hamlet have praised the documentary. This is an irreplaceable experience that speaks volumes about following your dreams despite the challenges that await, wrote IGN following its South by Southwest screening. Variety called the documentary a captivating staging of Shakespeare, which changes the game, while Hollywood Reporter said that Grand Theft Hamlet was innovative, highly amusing, and often touching. So yes, they staged Hamlet in GTA, and they made a documentary about it. And it's currently following its UK premiere in London, the other film festival appearances at the Bath Film Festival, Cambridge Film Festival, and Leeds Film Festival, if you fancy going to watch it.
That's really interesting.
It is interesting.
When I saw the headline, I thought it was just, here's a production of Hamlet in GTA Online. But it's a documentary about people
who did produce Hamlet in GTA
That's still really
Online.
interesting.
It is really interesting. And it is a bit weird.
That is very weird. It's a bit stinky too.
A bit stinky peculiar.
I would, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I would like to see that at some point. I've got some weird news.
Oh, yeah, bet you do.
It's from me.
Oh.
And it's written by Lincoln Carpenter, which is not a real name, I don't think, for PC Gamer. Modders achieved an unprecedented time to ogre. That's hyphenated. Time to ogre by putting Shrek in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero before its official release date. So despite having talked about the funny but also not funny aspect of putting Shrek and things in question one, we're now going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Because people love doing this. The reality,
Shrek, man, you got to put him in everything.
yes, the reality of our daily lives is underpinned by a series of unshakable truths. The sun will rise after it sets. Under standard atmospheric pressure, water will boil at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And if enough people play a video game, eventually, someone will put Shrek in it. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is enjoying no shortage of attention. In our review,
People loved it, man.
with Sparking Zero already a clear success, is it any surprise that, in accordance with the old laws, Shrek would inevitably appear as a modded addition to the roster of Z fighters? No, but it's notable that someone had him in there fighting Gokus before the game had even fully released, sorry. On Nexus Mods, you can find the Shrek on Topo mod, which replaces Topo, the fierce defender of justice who cast away his ideals in a failed bid to battle for the survival of his universe, with the funny green ogre best known for skateboarding in Tony Hawk's Underground.
That's what he's best known for.
An artistic achievement in any context, certainly, but modder Kualo uploaded the add-on to Nexus Mods on October the 9th, 2024, almost a full week before Sparking Zero's official release date. As much as I'd be thrilled to live in a world where someone on the inside at Spike Chunsoft was cooking up some hot pre-release Shrek mods, that's unfortunately not what happened here. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is the latest game to join the trend of offering early access for those willing to shell out for deluxe editions. Players who pre-ordered Sparking Zero's deluxe or ultimate editions were able to download and play the game on October the 8th, meaning that a Kualo dropped over $100 just so that they could spend their very first few days with the game figuring out how to turn its characters into Shrek. It's not ogre-related intrigue, but it's beautiful in its own way.
It is.
It continues, but that'll do. So this person got in there nice and early.
Yeah, before the game even officially released.
Just to make Shrek.
Love the commitment.
It's a huge commitment.
Love that.
And I think it's emblematic of a lot of
It's good to have
mods.
hobbies.
It is good, and it's a good hobby. It's a healthy hobby, not hurting anyone, apart from Topo, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't know who Topo
I don't know who Topo
They're all
is.
Goku to me.
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball.
No, me neither.
Absolutely
It's
nothing.
all Goku to me.
Yep.
All Goku to me.
absolutely.
And now, it's time for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion. This week, it comes from Bartek Kubica. Hi, lovely nerds.
Hi.
Silent Hill 2, could you extend the hi a little longer for me?
Hi.
Silent Hill 2 Remake is finally here. Press love it, audience love it, OG creators love it, I love it. However, this would not have been possible without a healthy portion of criticism of Bloober's work, mainly after the first trailers. Also, over the years, Konami made a questionable decision when it comes to the Silent Hill brand, so concerns were justified. My question is, what IP that belongs to one company, in your opinion, would gain if it was given to another studio? For example, a few years ago, I dreamed about Half-Life, but from Arcane. Rest easy, sweet angel. They're still alive, just one of them. Only one of them was shut down. Yep. Congratulations on your performance in Parcel Core, and bless you if any of you have sneezed so far. Bartek. Thank you.
No sneezes, but a few coughs.
Yeah, a few coughs. Thank you very much, Bartek. Yes, so Silent Hill 2.
People love it.
Really good. I am thrilled to be wrong about that because I've been a vocal critic of Bloober. I still maintain until now that they have not really proved they have phenomenal horror chops. The few Bloober games that I have played, I've been really unimpressed with, and I just assumed that this was not going to be very good. And the trailers sort of confirmed that suspicion. But you know what? They bloody did it, and I'm really happy that it's good.
I think it's crazy that they managed this. Like, even the trailers, people were like real junking on it, and it did not have a lot going for it in terms of, apart from like people love Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
That was like the only thing people were like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I love this game. But they kind of have actually pulled out of the bag.
Yeah, they smashed it.
And good for them.
So it's on an 80...
I think they needed it a little bit.
Oh, they definitely did. And hopefully whatever they go on to next, they're able to continue this momentum.
Not enough babies running into walls, if you ask me.
Which one was that? What was the baby running into?
Layers of Fear.
Where
it just like ran out a door and just bonked right into the wall, and you could get it to kind of do it over and over again if you kept going back and forth. So good.
I played the Blair Witch game and I got stuck. No, the dog got stuck in the environment.
I played the Blair Witch game and I could not figure out what I was supposed to do at all.
Rubbish. I played the medium and I didn't like the medium.
Anyway, I like the medium.
Regardless. They've done well.
They've done it.
And it's currently sitting on an 86% on Metacritic. They confirmed past couple of days that it's already sold 1 million copies as well. Yeah. So really good. Lovely. And hopefully Konami also run with this momentum and try and do something new with the Silent Hill brand, because God knows that everything else they've done since this reboot has been a bit of a disaster apart from this. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a weird Silent Hill year. Like, do you remember
Demo
when
was terrible. Remember that weird experience we played where you're going around with the wobble goblin?
Yeah, the wobble goblin.
And then there was also that live action or the social thing that you tune into.
But it was at like 1 a.m.
You had to create an account, download an app, and it didn't make any sense.
And it was just not.
That was not reviewed
And then
very well.
like you couldn't actually go back and watch any of the stuff. So even if you've missed a decision, like you couldn't.
Rubbish. Baffling decision.
Crazy decision. It was like playing Until Dawn, but you have to wait a week to find out what happens next, and you don't get to make the decision.
Really, really weird.
Really weird. They have been doing some weird stuff. I don't know if we have an idea of what they're doing next. I feel like this was kind of the last thing in their like setup of like.
Don't they have something else? There was the lady or the school student laying in like a beautiful lake, and there was like a red tree or something.
Well, I thought that was the demo.
Was that the demo?
The flower-headed.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Thing.
Maybe that was that.
I think that was the demo, and then we got the Silent Hill Bonanza, whatever it was called. I don't know what it was called. And then this was Silent Hill 2 Remake. I don't know if we have anything else from them at the moment in the works.
Not sure.
It was such a strange little like this happening, and also this, and then there was kind of no clarity on like what was each thing.
Could be another remake. Could be a brand new game, but historically the brand new games in the Silent Hill series were sort of diminishing returns in terms of quality. I think they're just getting weird studios to do it.
Resident Evil did go a bit after the first few got a bit
absolutely. 5, 6 were mental, even though 6 was the best one. Critically and commercially.
But yeah, I'm happy that this
good.
Turned out good.
James is streaming it at the moment. I think we're going to loop back at some point in the future and stream it together as well. But I'm looking forward to playing it at some point. I tried to play Silent Hill 1 on like the PS1 classic version on PS3. Actually, I tried to play it on Vita, and it mapped R2 and L2 to the back touchpad, which just didn't really work.
Cool.
And so I found it practically unplayable on the Vita. It was really hard to play, and I kind of gave up on it. But it's an iconic horror franchise, and I would like to play it at some point.
Yeah. Ditto.
So,
feel the same.
Bartek's question.
Yes.
If you could take a game franchise from one studio and give it to another to make in their own way, what would you go with?
I think it's less about making it in their own way and more, I just want more. I would like Crystal Dynamics to please give Lara Croft to Naughty Dog.
Okay.
I feel like everyone needs it. I feel like Lara Croft needs it. I feel like Naughty Dog need it. Please, somebody save Naughty Dog.
They've left Nathan behind.
They've left him behind.
He's gone.
And I feel like Crystal Dynamics, apart from just remaking all the old ones or remastering, whatever it is they're doing.
Are they doing that? Is that them?
Yeah.
Doing it? Okay.
Well, I think it's Crystal Dynamics have given it to like one like Saber or Aspire or whatever.
Okay.
The other ones are made by the Port Studios, who had been doing all of the rest of them.
Right.
I would like them to please give Lara Croft to someone else, because I really enjoyed the trilogy that came out over the last few years, and I want more of that. So please, can I have that, please? And can Naughty Dog do it? Because they need it to. Because they can't just keep releasing The Last of Us over and over again forever.
Please stop it.
Please stop it.
Make something new.
Free them. Herman,
stop.
Free them.
He's already looking at them and going, they'd make a great action-adventure Aloy game.
Yeah, what if you guys made Horizon, but it was zombies? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Could you do that for me?
Could you do that? We want a live service Uncharted game, but, hear me out, Nathan Drake has died and Aloy's there.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Don't say live service Uncharted game. That's sad. What a sad idea.
They've definitely had conversations about it.
I know they have.
Definitely spoken about it.
I would also like Batman to go to Arcane, because I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that would cool.
Cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
And the third thing, well, I would really like Nintendo to do something like a Mario game, but not Mario. Like if they like took Spyro and put their like masterful creation of 3D platformers in something like Spyro, that would be lush. to get like a new Spyro game, but it's made by Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what happens.
Yeah.
Like that sounds so interesting. Or maybe not like just Spyro, but like a 3D mascot platformer that has been lost to time.
Yeah.
Like
Glover.
Yeah.
Croc.
Yeah. Exactly. Croc.
Another one.
And one of the others.
One of the other ones, like Banjo. Or
Kazooie.
what's the famously bad Bubsy?
Bubsy.
Give him Bubsy.
Yeah. What's that hamster one? The one that was like supposed to be for kids and then they made it for adults.
Oh, Conker.
Conker.
The squirrel.
The squirrel.
Yeah, well, they're just hamsters, aren't they?
I meant squirrel. I was picturing.
They're the same thing.
I was picturing a squirrel, but I said hamster.
I hated it when all the red hamsters came over and they killed her. the grey hamsters came over.
Do you know what I
didn't
was
they?
thinking of? I was thinking of the movie Over the Hedge, where
Really?
there is a squirrel
There
who
is.
is called Hammy.
That's true. there is.
And I was picturing him, but I said hamster because it was his
That
name.
film
Hammy.
has an unbelievable cast.
Crazy cast, right?
We got Avril
Wanda
Lavigne,
Sykes.
William Shatner is in it.
Yeah.
Others are in it too.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the third one. Those are the three that I
But
can
it does
name.
have an unbelievable cast.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like David Schwimmer's in it because he was in all
I
the
feel like
animated
he
stuff
is
back
too.
in the
I'm
day.
going to look it.
You know what? We're going to take a pause here.
Over the
Over the
Hedge.
cast.
2006 film.
Yeah.
Cast.
Who we got?
Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Who's that?
You can recognize his face. This guy.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
William Shatner was in it.
Yeah.
Alison Janney. Who
Yes.
Yeah. Eugene Levy
Yeah.
was in it. Yeah. Loads of people.
It's crazy. We don't show that film enough respect.
I love that film. I'm going to
We
watch it tonight.
Played the game on Worst Games Ever and it was bad.
Yeah.
So just a heads up.
Yeah.
I've got a few.
Oh, yeah.
Here's one of them.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Pokemon game made by P Studio, who do the Persona games. So
Oh, my God.
yeah,
That sounds crazy.
it sounds crazy, but can you imagine what the menus would look like and the UI would be gorgeous. And then also have like a proper in-day calendar system. Maybe I don't know what
Are you going to play their new game?
a metaphor.
Yeah.
I've got the demo downloaded, but I haven't had a chance to play
People
it yet.
love that.
They do.
Did really well.
Really good reviews. It's
Yeah.
a bit choppy, apparently.
Right.
So I'm in no rush to
Sorry.
get the full thing.
Just thought I'd
That's
ask.
all right.
Carry on.
But I will get it at some point, I think, if I like the demo. The demo's like 6 hours long or something
Whoa.
crazy. So I'm gonna play through the demo first. Yes, so sort of like an in-day calendar system. The menus would look gorgeous. I don't know how it would be positioned because it wouldn't usually P Studio deal with like teenagers and adolescents and stuff like that.
Well, there's quite a lot of teenagers in Pokemon, quite
There are,
famously.
but traditionally, Pokemon trainers start out when they're like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So maybe you could play because if it's you're not going to be able to go to lots of different locations necessarily. I know that you can in Metaphor, which is maybe how that could be adapted. But, I'd love to see you sort of going on your Pokemon journey and having to divvy up your day into doing certain things, like get a part-time job at the daycare center or something, and to look after the Pokemon, and you level up your courage and things like that, and you're not
You
necessarily
want like a Detective Pikachu movie style game where you are a teenager who is like
you're just someone in the world of
Yeah.
Pokemon. You don't have necessarily you're not going to go to become the Pokemon champion, and you're not going to catch them all. You're just in the universe, and it tells a story in the universe, and it's structured like a Persona game. I'd love that. Turn-based, just like Persona is.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Cool.
Another one. Get ready. Mass Effect, as made by FromSquare.
ooh.
So it's a Mass Effect game. So it is a shooter, Souls-like, or
Ye-
just Souls game, I
right.
suppose.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of maybe sprinkling in some XCOM stuff there too, where in certain situations, if you're going in with a party, you could maybe lose party members and things like that.
Right.
But just think how much higher the stakes would feel if every time you are deployed, not only could you risk losing party members,
But you encounter a Souls-like style monster.
you could potentially
Epic
do that, a bit
proportions.
massive aliens, but also that like the encounters you have to think tactically, and
Yeah.
the combat would be really tight. You have to roll out the way. You're not just like snapping to cover and then peering over and shooting. Like you're dodging, you're deploying like cool, like instead of magic, it's your biotic powers and things like that. I'd love to see them just like completely warp that game. Get someone who isn't Miyazaki to write it though, so that we know what's going on, but have them design how it plays. I think that would be cool. Final one is just a bit of wish fulfillment, because again, it's like this is a dead franchise. Your Tomb Raider isn't a dead franchise, but this definitely is a Resistance game as made by Infinity Ward. So, Infinity Ward hasn't necessarily been making the longest, first-person shooter campaigns. They're perhaps around 5 hours maximum in the past 10 or so years. But I'm picturing like a full like a revival of Resistance games, but with the polish, the visuals, and the set pieces of an Infinity Ward Call of Duty production. I think that'd be really cool. I just think it's such an interesting universe that was created by Insomniac, and it's a crime that it's just been...
It is a crime.
They didn't even have a bot in Astrobot. It's ridiculous. They're not even pretending that ever existed.
There wasn't really any Insomniac characters in Astrobot.
It's true, because they had Ratchet and Clank.
That's true, they did have Ratchet and Clank.
But, they've been doing Spider-Man, and they had Jak and Daxter as well. But
that's true, I was wrong.
They had one from flipping, I think Starhawk got off bloody bot. Who played Starhawk?
There were some right random ones in Astrobot.
You couldn't put bloody Nathan Hale in, or a Chimera or something. Come on. Joe Capelli, get him in there. Ridiculous. Disgusting. But yeah, that last one is just please bring Resistance back and make it good. I'm pretty confident that if Somniac had a crack at a Resistance game now with a proper budget, it'd be flipping incredible.
Yeah, but with what we know they can do, absolutely.
They don't have any shooters. They don't have any bloody shooters in their first party
they're
stable.
too busy making flipping Spider Boys.
Stop. Well, you can keep making Spider Boys.
Yeah, but actually, please, I really like the Spider Boy games.
But in terms of Sony's roster of first party studios, they don't really have any shooter specialists anymore. They had Guerrilla, who had mixed success with first-person shooters, but yeah.
That's true, actually. They don't have any.
They've always been looking for that Halo killer, but then Xbox killed Halo themselves. So.
Yeah.
And now there's no real...
Their Halo killer was just wait it out.
It's just a sign of the times, isn't it? I don't think, we spoke about this a while ago about how I really like a first-person shooter campaign, and you don't really get those anymore outside of Call of Duty because it's just fallen out of fashion as a genre. You get lots of online shooters, but you don't really get single-player shooter experiences anymore. So I'd like to see that, please. That's what I would like very much. Thank you.
Please,
Thank you indeed. Getting a bit warm now. Turn that off.
Toasty.
Do you have any amazing melds of franchise and studio that you would like to see done in your perfect, most wildest dreams? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to read through some of them. There's a few places you can find us around the internet. Ashton is going to tell you 3 of them right now.
I am. YouTube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for all of our video and live stream content. Our live streams are mostly on Twitch, and our video content is pretty much all on YouTube. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch sub, which you could potentially, if you're feeling nice, spend on us if you fancied it. Yeah. And of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump.
Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. That's where you can get loads of cool stuff. Go and check it out.
Cool.
TripleJ.mup is our website. There you can find links to everything that we do. And why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, would really appreciate it. Just enough time. Let's talk about this week's sponsor yet again.
If you're in Spain and you want to play Super Mario Party, well, you can win a leg of cured meat. Super Mario Party, jamon for me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for watching / listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.